So good afternoon, everyone. I like to introduce myself as a medical professional and a sports injury surgeon. Majority of my day, I spend time with my athletes, piecing their injuries back together and trying to put them back into their field of sport, their passion, their love. But beneath all these lies a fundamental question, inherent to all, as to why we fall. This is not in reference to just the simple stumble that we can have, but what I'm referring to is sports injuries. When we talk about our passion for sports, we are all sports enthusiasts in one way or the other. We are united by the thrill of competition. We celebrate giant feats of athleticism, like how Neeraj Chopra threw that javelin. But beneath all this lies a shadow which none of us would like to go into or fall into. And that is the shadow of a sports injury, which can push one to the sideline. Today, I would like to delve into the multifactorial reasons as to how and why we sustain these injuries. In a city like Mumbai, with a population of roughly around in an area of around 600 square kilometers, with a population of more than 2 crores, we are looking at all the reasons to fall. Stairs, uneven surfaces, footpaths. So we have all the reasons to injure ourselves. This forms 50% of my practice, where the patients who present to me are domestic injuries. I'm not talking about these today, but what I really want to discuss about is the sports injuries. Firstly, the nature of the sport itself. Football, if you take into consideration, a high-velocity jumping, pivoting, cutting sport can result in injuries in even a simple tackle, a contact, or a quick change of direction can cause an injury. Similarly, a racket sport like badminton, which we all love, there is a sudden change of direction which can result in an injury. An overhead smash or even a drop shot during badminton is the common things that athletes present to me with injury. A different sport, running, involves repetitive stress, and repetitive stress can induce injuries to the bone in the form of stress fractures. Some other sports like gymnastics or skiing are unpredictable, and you can sustain an injury just like that. Secondly, if we talk about our preparedness for the sport, if we look at ourselves, the first thing that I observe in a walk-in patient who comes to me is how much flexible are they. We can test this right now. If all of you can just stand up for a moment, if you can stand, and if you can attempt to bend forward and stand for a moment, and if you can bend forward and attempt to touch your toes, you can okay, you can sit down. So majority of us who would have attempted to do it and who would have tried to do it, if you can bend forward and attempt to touch your toes, and if you can touch your toes, you are flexible enough for the sport. But if you have reached your knee level and if you're really at your shin level, you must know that you have large scope of improvement. Because flexibility captures the joint. It prevents the smooth gliding of the joints during your sport. The most common example is Naveen, who is my favorite runner. He runs long distance and even ultra distances, which are 100-kilometer running. And if you look at him, he presented to me with a lingering outer side knee pain because of which he was hobbling when he came to me. So Naveen had a very simple problem. He had pain on the outer side of the thigh, which was because of a tight outer side of the thigh called a tight IT band, which was preventing the normal gliding of the knees. And this is what's called a runner's knee. A very simple solution, give him specific stretches, especially for the IT band, can put the runner back to the spot. And Naveen came recently to me. He had completed the 100K running in Kedarnath, where he has to carry a 5 kg and run for 100 kilometers. So these are the simple factors which one can consider when it comes to a sporting injury. Change. Thirdly, if you look at it, overtraining. Overtraining is a broad terminology where a person or an individual engages in a sport without allowing his body to come down to a normal physiological level. So Murtuza is a long-distance cyclist. He does 600-kilometer cycling, which are called BRMs. These are events where they cycle non-stop 600 kilometers. He got a podium finish. He got the award the same night. But the next day morning, he contacted me with a completely swollen left thigh. And the question was, why did he get this? The diagnosis was a completely swollen quadriceps muscle in response to the sport. So these are results of overtraining where your bone, your muscles, your tendons do not take the load of the activity that you perform. This can be as simple as a muscle swelling in Murtuza which settled by itself, or it can be as severe like a swelling in the bone in the form of a stress fracture. So if you look at this patient who had a significant swelling in the bone post a simple activity, he has done nothing new, he has done his routine stuff, but the white patch on the bone has developed just because he was engaging in his sport without the proper nutrition. He developed a diet which he thought can be combined with his sport and he can lose his weight quickly. But this resulted in a massive swelling in the bone, a stress fracture. So overtraining can be a result of reduced nutrition and increased exertion. A very critical factor is the external environment which we are in when we engage in our sport. This can be just as simple as a weather condition, or it can be the surfaces that we practice on. Like my power lifter who went for a heavyweight powerlifting but twisted his thigh only because the surface on which he was lifting the weight was uneven. And even in the turfs, in the schools, in the campuses, in the grounds in Mumbai, where the balance between friction and smoothness is a critical factor to avoid injuries. And to get to that surface and play the right spot is a crucial reason for avoiding sports injuries. The last factor is the element of chance. And this is known to and studied to and proved to happen especially in competitions, where Yatin, who was involved in a mixed martial art fighting, twisted his knee, he tore his inner side knee ligament so badly during the sport that he had to be out of action. But with our help and intervention and today's medical knowledge, we can evaluate these injuries, understand the possibility of healing, and administer a treatment, surgical or non-surgical, to put them back into sport. And Yatin, roughly at 3 months, was kicking with the same side of the leg without any discomfort or issue without any surgical intervention. These are the miracle of healing which happens in athletes, and we are just individuals who can monitor them. So if you pause here and think about things a little bit, injury in a young child, he may just get up and go away as if nothing has happened to him because their joints are flexible. Injury in an athlete, we have to reach our hands out to them so that they come out of it. Injury in an old man, he may sustain a fracture or an injury where he cannot get up from. Thankfully, in my last decade plus of practice in Mumbai, I have been involved with sports injuries in a clinic and in multiple hospitals where I provide my expertise and I try to help sports injuries resolve their problems either non-surgically or surgically. Few of the things that help me understand these injuries and treat them better are, I understood the sporting career in itself is a different ballgame. So I started engaging myself in sports, being a keen observer of sports and events and athletic activities. Although I was not so involved, I started engaging myself. I started cycling to work. I also went to lengths where I cycled 100 kilometers plus in days in long distance trips so that I can push my body and understand what a sports person undergoes. That's a picture of me cycling in Ladakh with my two kids running next to me, Farhan and Zoha. In these participations, I understood the emotional turmoil of winning and losing, of how they train and how they focus on improvement, and how crucial an injury is to an athlete. When I see an athlete in my department, I don't see them as tissue which needs repair. I see them as sports persons whose identity is at risk, whose athletic activity is at risk. And I see them for their personality more than the injury. And that helps me as a sports surgeon to draw solutions better so that I can provide them a quick re-entry back into their sport. When it comes to such injuries where one sustains a tear of the inner side knee ligament, and in case this tear is not healing with conservative management, and if they are not able to come out of these injuries, a solution that we can provide, which is minimally invasive, and we can go and fix things and come out, would be a marvel. So such an instrument in my arsenal is called an arthroscopy, whereby you introduce a camera as small as 2.9 millimeters into the joint, reach the area where we have the object of interest, trim, smoothen or repair that object, and come out. So these are two poke holes through which the entire process can be corrected. And this system is called the arthroscopy. And that's what helps majority of my athletes, and that's what I'm specialist I am in, providing to my patients. Rehabilitation is the key after such injuries, and my sports physiotherapist helps me recover the patients to be put back to their field of interest. And this is just not the reason why patients or players or athletes do not get back to their sports. The real reason are much more. It is not just the injury or the pain after surgery or the issues after surgery. It is most often fear, apprehension, and lack of balance, which doesn't allow an athlete to get back to their sport. So here we have a team of personnels who works in tandem. A sports physiotherapist, a sports surgeon, a sports scientist, an athletic trainer, a strength and conditioning coach, a sports nutritionist, a sports psychiatrist, all work in tandem trying to help an athlete recover and come back to their field of interest. In these events where athletes sustain injuries and we, with our camera, can fix even large ligament tears, and with the help of the entire team, can put the athlete back to their sport of interest, even as early as 6 months, where athletes can resume a high-velocity pivoting, cutting sport like even football. So we have progressed beyond just arthroscopy, like Chakshu, my national level cyclist, who had the best timing of number 3, was unable to sit on the cycle because of a lingering hip pain. And he was diagnosed by many, intervened in different forms. Unable to get a solution, he came to me and I found significant inflammation in the hip. The only way to tackle this is to reach the hip joint through a camera and remove the diseased tissue. But here the problems were a deeper joint covered with so many muscles. So we developed our instrumentation so that we have larger, longer, and stronger equipment to reach the hip joint in a fine way and take out the diseased lining. This procedure in itself brought Chakshu back to cycling in roughly around 3 to 4 months, and he was ready for competing in roughly around 6 months. These are really stories of success, but what haunts us surgeons are stories of failure, like a national badminton athlete not listening to your body, ignoring a niggle, and just pushing through. They sustained an injury which they neglected and reached a stage where neither surgery and non-surgery, they are not going to regain their normal functionality. And this is definitely a sports ending move. The lesson here is listening to your body is the key when it comes to injuries. And adequate attention can be given with so many personnels involved in sports medicine care. If you talk about injuries and recovery, some are marvelous. Like Mayur Bagal, who is 90% blind and lingering with pelvic pain in the violet jersey running ahead. He is blindfolded and he is having a tandem runner with him to be a guide. He came podium finish in the recently held Kalo Games. These are really stories of body resilience, which we cannot imagine. So, in conclusion, it's not all about injuries. We need to understand the reasons why an athlete can sustain or may sustain an injury. If we try to understand this multifaceted reasons, we will know that it is an interplay of all these reasons which causes injuries in the first place. And if we commit ourselves to understanding these causes, improving your flexibility, training in a proper way that you do not overtrain with an adequate nutrition, training yourself in a proper way for a particular sport, and if you look at your surfaces and control your nerves for your competition, you really can have an injury-free living. We must commit ourselves to a proper understanding of these factors, and in our pursuit for the sport, we should ensure that we stay away from these injuries which sidelines us. Thank you very much.